Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. Well, tonight we've got a first. I'm actually streaming on 3 platforms tonight: YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Facebook people, you actually are able to send stars in order to support the channel. And YouTubers, you can do your super chats or whatever. Twitter's the only one that doesn't allow that type of support. However, anyway, welcome and thank you. So yes, I've got it set up. So Joanne XX on Facebook is where you can find me. You're missing your Geordie's fix, to be honest, is so mortal. Yes. Well, I've actually got a little bit for you tonight. So not a lot because it's all gone quiet since yesterday. So I actually was tossing and turning whether to come on tonight. I'm still not feeling very well. My sinuses are still giving me grief. It's been 6 weeks. I think it's time to keep going back to the doctor like I did with my car. I kept taking my car back until I got an answer. I think it's time to do that. So I think, so my sinuses are still all clogged up, and I've got my timetable for next semester, and it looks like I've got to do face-to-face learning. I'm not really looking forward to having to put clothes on to leave the house, to be honest. It's amazing when that upsets you, hey? I got 3 weeks of holidays left, so I'll be enjoying my pajama fest. So I hope you're all well. Hello, Feel the Love. Who else is here? Spanky and John and Sir Myrtle, Benjamin and Diamond Crystal Arts. Hope those of you in lockdown are doing all right. If you're in New South Wales, be careful if you have any form. I'm not in New South Wales. I'm in Victoria. That's all right. They keep sending me for COVID tests. I've been having one every 2 weeks for I've got your back. I've got your back on Twitter, Joe. Yes, I saw that. Yes, I saw you. Cool. Great. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I keep getting sent off for COVID tests, but yeah, clothes are overrated. I know. Oh dear me. I'm really disappointed because Katie Joy did another live today, and my phone decided it would die and go flat on me, so I missed a lot of it because there was lots of really good body language stuff on it. It's really funny how my whole perception of watching her lives now to look at body language cues. I'm thinking, this would be a really good case study for tonight, and then my phone not only died, but it didn't save it. Oh, nothing for the love. It's just I'm also streaming on Twitter. I'm live streaming on Twitter. Although there was she's been on Twitter today. Katie Joy's been on Twitter today, of course. She's still upset that she wasn't taken seriously 14 years ago. So anyway, doesn't matter. So let's look at some stuff that's happening. I found some interesting stuff from around the world, and we'll get to our Jordan friendly Geordie's fix today. Oh, I had to go out today and I'd put the recycling out and then I couldn't find my keys. And I searched everywhere. I pulled everything out from under my bed. I pulled everything off my desk. I couldn't find my keys. I searched couches under couches. And I had this thing and said, well, I put the recycling. Last time I had my keys was when I put the recycling out. I wonder whether the keys have made their way into the bin. Sure enough, they had. Oh, I tell you. I've created a body. Yes, I know you have created a body monster. Body, yeah. However, there has been somebody on YouTube that has put them in 2-minute clips for us. It's always the last place you look. I know. Yeah. So let's have a look. Okay, so the first story we're going to look at is from Charlottesville. Let's have a look what Charlottesville's doing. So Charlottesville to a statue that sparked deadly white supremacist rally. So apparently there is a Confederate statue that became a rallying point for white supremacists and helped inspire the infamous 2017 Charlottesville rally will be hoisted off its pedestal this week and sent to storage. The statue of General Robert Lee and another Confederate tribute nearby were both scheduled to be removed on Saturday local time, 4 years after white supremacists and neo-Nazis organised protests against the removal. Violence at the rally left protester Heather Heyer 32 dead and sparked a national debate over racial equity, further inflamed by former President Donald Trump's insistence that there was blame on both sides. Hello, Chaotic. So there have been 10 expressions of interests. There have been 10 expressions of interest from organisations wanting to acquire the statues. A viewing area will be set up for people who want to see the removal. So they're saying it was a long time coming. They were erected in the 1920s when Jim Crow laws were eroding the rights of black citizens. The Charlottesville City Council voted in February 2017 to take down the Lee statue amid mounting public pressure, but the state laws dealing with war memorials and lawsuit delayed their decision. So city officials have said they plan to redesign the park spaces where the statues are located in a way that promotes healing and tells a more complete history of Charlottesville. Do we have anyone from Charlottesville watching? So what does everybody think? Are they statues that should be removed? I mean, we still have some of this debate at the moment, with Captain Cook and some of the First Fleet, whether we should be celebrating, that part of Australia's history. So, yeah. Hello, Robin. Hello. So anyway, those statues are due to be removed. So the statue of General Robert E. Lee will go into storage until they decide what they're going to do with it. So I thought that was an interesting article. The next one I've got Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin talk warfare after spike in attacks. So apparently, cyber attacks have increased, and Mr. Biden and Mr. Putin spoke in Geneva. So the President Biden told Russian President Vladimir Putin in a phone call that he must take action against cyber criminals acting in his country and warned the US would defend its people and its critical infrastructure from any further attacks. I don't think they. So the message to Mr. Putin was largely a repetition of a tough rhetoric Mr. Biden had used during the meeting in Geneva last month when he warned that there would be consequences for continuing cyber attacks coming from Russia. Since then, a new ransomware attack linked to Russia-based Revil hacking group has caused widespread disruption, placing Mr. Biden under growing pressure at this time. Marry the warning with actions, though none were immediately announced. The Kremlin has promised to cooperate with the US authorities to end the cyber warfare. I made it very clear to him that the United States expects when a ransomware operation is coming from his soil, even though it's not sponsored by the state, we expect them to act as if we give them enough information to act on who it is, Mr. Biden said. Asked whether there will be consequences, he said yes. Australia is not immune to such cyber attacks. Abattoir staff were forced to work after meat processor JBS was crippled by a ransomware attack early in June. So we've had a few cyber attacks as well. So Biden's optimistic that the cyber attacks will stop. The Kremlin said the two leaders emphasized the need for cooperation on cybersecurity, which it said must be permanent, professional, non-politicized, and should be conducted via special communications channels and with respect to international laws. So there you go. Why are they trying this? Yeah. So anyway, that's what's happened. So Biden's talked tough with Russia. Do you think Putin's going to care? No, I don't think. I don't think. In my opinion, I don't think Putin would really care. Really, that's just my opinion. All right, here we go. Here's the next one. The Taliban. All the countries are leaving Afghanistan at the moment. Taliban claims 85% control of Afghanistan, prompting exodus of refugees. So it's interesting that now that everybody's removing their troops out of Afghanistan, the Taliban are now saying that they rule it. So Taliban officials say they've taken control of 85% of Afghanistan as international concerns mount over problems getting medicines and supplies into the country. Afghan government officials dismissed the assertion that the Sunni Muslim insurgent group controlled most of the country as part of a propaganda campaign launched as foreign forces, including Australia, withdraw after almost 20 years of fighting. But local Afghan officials said Taliban fighters, emboldened by the withdrawal, had captured an important district in Herat province, home to tens of thousands of minority Shiite Hazaras. So I think this is a concern. So now that international forces are leaving, the Taliban's now starting to take control of parts again. Torgundai, a northern town on the border with Turkmenistan, has also been captured by the Taliban overnight. Afghan and Taliban officials said hundreds of Afghan security personnel and refugees continued to flee across the border into neighbouring Iran and Pakistan, causing concern in Moscow and other foreign capitals that radical Islamists could infiltrate Central Asia. 3 visiting Taliban officials sought to address these concerns during a visit to Moscow. So there's some concern here. We take measures so that Islamic State will not operate on Afghan territory. Our territory will never be used against our neighbours, one of the Taliban officials said. He said, you and the entire world community have probably recently learned that 85% of the territory of Afghanistan has come under the control of the Taliban. The same delegation said a day earlier that the group would not attack the Afghan border, the fate of which is in focus in Russia and Central Asia. When asked about how much territory the Taliban held, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby declined direct comment. Claiming territory or claiming ground doesn't mean that you can sustain that or keep it over time, he said in an interview with CNN. And so I think it's really time for the Afghan forces to get into the field, and they are in the field, to defend their country, their people. They've got the capacity, they've got the capability, now it's time to have the will. So that's what they're saying. So the Taliban is saying that they're got 85% of Afghanistan. Okay. Central Asia, I don't know. It doesn't say. I would say that. I don't know that India would be wanting no concern really. And it's never our concern or fight. Well done, John Howard, says Razorban. Yeah. Well, I would think it would concern. All right. I came across this article today. Nationals MP Wes Fang unconcerned with the arrest and charging of Friendly Geordies producer for striking. So this goes back in but US is downplaying Taliban threat. Yeah. Hello, Bo. So this goes back. I found this article from June, so it's an old article, but I think it just shows. I think it just shows the. I've lost what I was trying to say. Oh, how really out of touch the National Party is. On this, no, I don't. So it says a Nationals MP does not have any concerns about the arrest and charging of a YouTube comedian's producer, despite a fellow politician from the area saying it was extremely disturbing. MP Wes Fang, so he's a National Party from New South Wales. Was reacting to Krista Lanker being charged with 2 stalking offences related to his party leader, New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro. Lanker is the producer for Friendly Geordies, aka Jordan Shanks, who is being sued by Barilaro and after making videos accusing the Deputy Premier of corruption. MP Alan Dalton, who has been in Friendly Geordies videos and had crew at her house, believes the action against Lanker is wrong given he approached Mr. Barilaro in public areas. The implications for free speech and civil liberties are extremely disturbing, Ms. Dalton said. A special unit established to tackle extremists should not be arresting a YouTube comedian. Ms. Dalton was referring to the Fixated Persons Investigation Unit set up after the deadly Link Cafe terrorism siege and given the task of probing those obsessed to an irrational degree with public office holder or an extreme ideological cause. Asked if he had any unease about Lanker's arrest, Mr. Fang was carefree. This is where he's out of touch. I don't have any concerns at all. This is another example of Helen Dalton being critical of the government unnecessary and in an unwarranted way, Mr. Fang said. The Fixated Persons Unit was doing as the name suggests. that person had already approached the Deputy Premier, and the footage shows that person approached the Deputy Premier on another occasion, and it fits within the remit of the Fixed Persons Unit. Shanks, in a video detailing Lenker's apprehension, described the arrest as legalised goon squad and said his producer attempted to tell an arresting officer that our work is not cyberbullying, it's journalism. Mr. Fang said Lenker was not a journalist and doesn't have journalistic credentials, and that Mr. Barilaro was suffering abuse and unfair criticism from what is effectively a Labor supporting comedian. So it's political. So he's just admitted that it's political. I stalk Joe, send out fixated persons. So I think he just admitted, because he said a Labor supporting comedian. I think he's just proven that, yeah. And would agree that it is for Labor also, as other parties will use. It's true. It's true. But even if let's just take the politics out of it just for the moment. Let's just take the politics out of it for the moment. Did two encounters really constitute the Fixated Persons Squad? They've only cited 2 occasions in the charges. If they were smart, they would have cited the videos as well, because then you could say there was 5 occasions. But they weren't smart enough to think about that. That's why he did the defamation. But to say, what did this guy say? Shows the person approached the Deputy Premier on another occasion, and it fits the remit of the Fixated Persons Unit. So twice, and suddenly you now have. We actually don't know the extent of FJ's involvement. Also, some MPs have distanced themselves. Some have. They don't. I don't think they want to be aligned with that. But just because you don't like the LNP doesn't mean that you're a Labor voter either. To be fair. How many women have been killed after reporting stalkers to police? How many taxpayers? I believe Christo had a media pass, didn't he? So to say that he was me lurking on videos, that's right, Bo. Yeah, you lurking on videos is more that's right. But they didn't even put the videos in the complaint. And we know that Christo had just been to his class, and he was walking back. So it wasn't as if it was a deliberate attempt to spot him. It was just, it was just happened to have occurred. So I don't know. So I thought they did, in the sense of referring, yes, but not in the actual charge. Not in the actual charges. They've used the videos in the defamation, but not in the stalking. We have 2 major political parties, and then some smaller ones. So we have Liberal National Party, which is a coalition Labor Party. So usually the Prime Minister will come from one of those parties. We have the Greens. That's the next biggest party. Then we have a bunch of independents. Am I correct? Yeah. Yeah, the videos are being used in the defamation. But then they referred to, I think Chris Anthony referred to the stalking as well, but I don't know. The statement of facts contain no facts. The actions of the officers, yes, they do. Greens have been they don't like him, which is really strange because they don't like the Greens hate the LNP as well. Helen Dalton's from a party called the Fishers and Shooters Party. Is it the Fishers and Shooters Party? And that's an independent party. I don't know. The Greens won't speak out at all. So, but I just think it was a bit rich for them to say, well, the fixated persons unit was doing what they were supposed to do. Yeah, for 2 encounters. You know? Don't walk past me twice. Come on, if you walk past me twice, I'm going to have to set the fixated persons unit on you. Don't speak to me. Don't speak to me when you walk past me. Because, oh dear. Because that's what it's going to mean. Independent. No, it doesn't really mean independent. No, that's true. They usually do a deal with one of the parties. So, yeah. So in 40 minutes or 45 minutes, something, I think Ash Barty takes to the court too, by the way. Yes, he's supposed to be touring, yeah. This is happening when New South Wales goes into crisis mode. This case is going to change. Well, it is going to change how politicians are covered. You're correct, Sophie. Oh, is she? She's still. Yeah, the Greens. I don't think. I think that Bob Brown. I think was the heart and soul of the Greens. They have they have lost their way a little bit. I have to agree with that. Indeed. Yeah. So it'll all depend what I mean, and it may actually define commentary channels as well, what you can do on YouTube. It may actually define the whole YouTube community, what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable on YouTube anymore, if you want to think about it that way. Because they're suing Google. Does it mean that you can't do satire anymore, that you can't poke fun at people? Does it mean that, you can't do comedy? Does that mean that that's all gone? There's a lot there that there's a lot in my opinion. There's a lot at stake with this. Hello, Karen. How are you? Look, it could lead to more attacks on free speech. You're right. Yeah. No, they did have a leader called Bob Brown. No, they had a leader called Bob Brown. Bob Brown was Green leader. Yes, Bob Brown. Yes. I know, it is ironic. It was ironic. It will be used. Yes, it will be. It probably will be used in case law a lot. So, yep. Chaser. Well, I mean, look what the Chaser did to Howard. Howard just embraced it. What is the reason for the current climate situation? who is the reason for the current climate situation in Australia? I don't know. I know Chaser took a chainsaw to carry the chainsaw with John Howard. Didn't he hug him when they had a chainsaw and he was walking the park? Didn't he just go and hug them? Which I thought was quite unique. So, I mean, when he denied Liberal, literally embraced them with the axe. He did, didn't he? Oh, it was so funny. It was really funny. Yeah. And if it wasn't down to Braz and Koala Killer being so bad and supported by MSN, I don't think FJ would have gone so hard. Well, it's true. I mean, they gave Silence Jackie Lambie. Yeah, she used to speak out, didn't she? All right. See if it's on her Instagram. As you can see, I've got lots to talk about tonight. Jackie is tired and new rules instead of preventing debate. Well, yeah, I mean, tired, yeah. They've brought in a lot of new rules to try and stop debate, to stop anybody from questioning them. I look really good today. Oh, hello, sunshine. Thank you. I actually feel the greatest, but thank you. Yeah. She did. She got a Royal Commission. So that was good. Yeah. No, I haven't looked at the Assange revelations yet. No, I'm sure that will be good. The Assange stuff would be good. Not saying that FJ didn't do his homework, but some of it became a bit personal. It possibly. Surely, I mean, it sort of got personal when Christo's family got attacked too. The New South Wales second number of people whose job it was to plan when is one Greens member in New South Wales, two in federal. Wow. All right. Just waiting to see if a few more people come because I researched KJ a bit today. I understand the cray now. Chaotic, I warned you. And you survived. I don't know. There's so much I don't know. I don't understand about the Australian government. And Chaotic, what did you find out? You didn't watch your Instagram live today, did you? Not anymore, they don't. They've got a couple of they've got more senators though. I don't know. Outspoken YouTube taking on a big fish, a braver man. Well, that's true. But is it any different to someone like Sean McAuliffe or what else? What other shows are there? Like watching a sideshow. Can you see? Can you see the interest? Can you see why we can't look away? He needs a shrink. Oh, nothing new. I was getting the background. Well, I mean, Greens did have a bit of power with Gillard because they formed the minority. Labor formed the minority government. So, but that was back then. So, I need popcorn. It's fascinating. It is, isn't it, chaotic? You can see why we can't stop looking away. It's like that car crash. You don't want to see the car crash, but you can't help but drive past slowly and slow down and look. That's all I can say, chaotic. That's how I describe it. How do you think things will play out when Jacinta Price gets in? I don't know. I think she's going to liven things up. She's already livened things up in the Northern Territory. And they don't do anything for their values. Do they run the... Yeah, okay. Well, that's true too. So... Shall we do it? Shall we do another body analysis? As I said, my phone actually died because I tried to record it because the comments were great. People were really calling her out. She doesn't like it. She actually banned somebody because they said they didn't like her talking about the subject she was talking about. So, on Sky, she seems so... Yeah. Do you know what... Let's talk about... Do you know what was really, really devastating? I found out that Josh Frydenberg supports the same AFL team as me. That was gut wrenching. I almost want to give up my membership. That's how bad it is. He posted the photo and I'm going, no, he can't go for the same team. No, not him. Not him. Hello, Window Whispers. How are you? Josh Frydenberg. Yeah, so I'm going, no, not him. Oh, no, you went to sleep. Yeah, well, that was like me with my keys. They ended up in the recycling bin, just as well I hadn't put it out in the street. So, go to Lions. Are they winning? I saw somebody tweet to Gladys, tag Gladys in the tweet to say, hey, yes, I saw teenagers ending up in ICU. Someone said, do you think it's about time? Do you think it's about time you actually rang Dan now and apologised? Your boyfriend isn't Crow supporter, Diamond? No. The Victorian opposition leader also goes for the same team as me too, which is very, very. He's blocked me from his social media accounts. Apparently, he doesn't like being told that he's a useless tool. I did use the words with all due respect, though. I said, with all due respect, you are a useless tool. And I got blocked. How dare he? Oh, yeah. So I think they said that. But, yes, we shouldn't view people based on politics, but as a person. That is a good point. I just tell people I think, whether they want to hear it or not. Some people just don't like it. Tim Smith or windscreen? No, windscreen. Oh, Brian. Oh, really? You found your watch in the freezer? No, Dim Tim hasn't blocked me yet. Once lost my watch for a month, found it in the freezer, still working after dried out, a new battery. Wow. That's amazing. All right. Oh, this one's an hour. She talked for an hour. Oh. Great. Me too, but yeah, well, that's true. Yes, that's true. That is true. All right. Let's get this out of the way now. For everybody playing at home. We apparently need to speak in code, yes. And you need to add in my opinion. Apparently, if I said in my opinion, I think you're a tool. No, here we go. It's not a good sign when you yawn before you even start. Maybe it's a sign that you shouldn't be on the computer.
Guys, it's so late. It's very late. And I am just jumping on Instagram to say hello to everyone. I hope you guys are having a good day.
This goes on for an hour and 20 minutes. Hello, Plan to Create. I heard some of this, but as I said, my phone dies. It got bored. It does get boring. But you're going to hear some revelations. Hello, Princess Jax.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Good morning. It's been a very
Just going to pause it there. What's she doing? Yeah, everyone got there. See, thought she was tired. Everyone got their emojis ready?
wow. Been a very big week.
Oh, by the way, she's going to talk about the R, because if I say it, the word. So she's going to talk that and about SA and all of that stuff again. And I remember one of the comments was, How did we go from having a nice chat to talking about R? But it goes there. So I'm just warning you. I've got to put a trigger warning on everything. It's an interesting expression. Sock puppet, violin, sad fish. Yeah, you'll need all of those, Diamond.
Good evening. Hello. There's hardly any rain here. Oh, it's 9:50.
Is she related to Mick Jagger? Killjoy. Oh, where's Osbel? She could do a Mick Jagger. We could have the lips.
In here. I'm just really tired.
Do we turn it into a drinking game? We are here expressing your professional opinion.
108 in Sacramento. My goodness, that's hot. My makeup is perfect. I was just laying in bed.
It's a filter. Come on. She usually uses filters. That has to be a filter.
That's funny.
Well, go to bed.
I just put my... Frida's stressed out. Yeah, I did a video about Kale and Brianna, and listen, I know that my Instagram, my stuff on Teen Mom is not widely viewed. I don't have a large audience for Teen Mom content. I just don't. And most of my audience doesn't care about Teen Mom anymore. Hey, Frida, please, Frida.
I'm referring to no. I'm a bit slow, John.
Come on, Frida.
Not even Frida wants. Not even Frida wants her on Instagram.
Frida, please. Here. She's like straddling me because there's fireworks. I've had a runny nose all day from my allergies. Frida. She's stressed out. She loves her mommy. Yes, I'm her safe space. I feel like most of my audience doesn't care about me anymore.
He's up, girl, the one. Mick Jagger lips.
That's awesome. I love you. That's a cute thing to say. Really good about themselves now. Thank you. So I don't really do a whole lot on Teen Mom, but oh, look at all. See, Gabber Dabber says she cares. So does...
Yeah, she does. She deletes people all the time.
AG.
Anyone that says something she doesn't like gets deleted. Anyone know animals that you can't really leave them alone with fireworks about yet? Yes, negative comments saying her audience doesn't care anymore. Yes.
Cricket says they don't care about you. Katniss loves Teen Mom.
Joanne hasn't deleted me yet. No, I don't give anybody the pleasure of deleting. That's Nightbot can do. Nightbot will kick you if you mess around. No, I don't give anyone the pleasure. I'm one of those people. Even on Facebook, you actually have to delete me before I'll delete you. I'm one of those annoying people.
On her, so I don't want anything to do with her. Ashley is so mean to people. She's so mean. So I read through, here are my thoughts about the Kaylin lawsuit. I did a video about it. I read through it. There's no way she can win this, in my opinion.
All right, she's a legal expert now. Remember that.
The claims are baseless. She can be mad at Brianna for saying what she said, but Brianna was clear on her Instagram that she had a source, and the source was production. And if someone in production is telling her this is what happened, and she believes that to be true, she's not doing anything but sharing what she knows and what she thinks. And to me, it seems like she's just mad that people are talking about this arrest that she didn't want people to talk about.
I don't know.
And yes, she was arrested. No, she wasn't convicted. They dropped the charges, but that doesn't mean an arrest didn't happen. It doesn't mean that something didn't happen. We just don't know what happened. We know that Kaylin on a podcast said that she went over there and went out of character. What that means.
Yes, don't you have to do 3 actions in a row? I thought... Yep. Hello, Melly Lynn. I know. It's funny, isn't it?
I don't know. But she said on Coffee Convos that she went out of character. So for her to file this lawsuit is ridiculous to me. I think Kaylin has a new PR team that's trying to clean up her image. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's true. But all these NDAs and all this stuff that's happening right now smells like there's a PR firm involved. And even the lawsuit was like talking about how what she said was incompatible.
Smells. Just wait till she turns. Oh, hey, we're going to get there yet.
Teen Mom producers got fired because they allowed the girls to take charge and only film what they wanted. Kale? No, I didn't hear that. What I heard today actually was this. Here's some tea. So when everything happened with Kale and Brianna, and all this stuff has been coming out about Kale, not just Kale has decided.
Oh, you ain't heard nothing yet, EC. Oh, when my son came back from the store and all his baby curls were gone because his dad decided to cut his hair. I wanted to beat his butt too. Oh, that's funny. It's not funny, but yeah, it's funny. Isn't it sad when they lose all their curls? I don't know, Spanky. I don't know. There's lots of speculation, but I don't speculate.
And all this stuff has been coming out about Kale. Not just Kale has to sign NDAs, like production has to sign NDAs now, I guess. That's what I was told by a source, that production and anyone involved in the show, and then anyone connected to cast that have like relationships with them, have to sign NDAs. And that's so situations like this don't happen again. Like production are not supposed to be talking between cast members about what other cast members are doing. They're not supposed to be like stirring the pot. I feel like MTV benefits from the feud. It keeps them in the headlines. And if MTV, she really, I mean, theoretically should be suing the producer that.
She's allegedly takes Adderall for her ADHD. I don't know what that does.
She really, I mean, theoretically should be suing the producer that told that to Rihanna, if that's not true. And I don't see Kaylin losing sponsors. I don't see her podcast not being listened to. I mean, how does she then, in my opinion, argue what's going on with V? So she's got another podcast that's got drama. Is that Brianna's fault? Her issue with Marcus, is that Brianna's fault? You know, like, the problem with Kaylin right now is she wants to present an image that she cannot consistently live to behind the cameras. And I feel like if you want to have a PR team that helps to clean up your image, you should probably make your behavior off camera match what you want to portray on camera, like on camera and on your podcast. So if you
really, it's interesting because if you actually read some of the comments on her videos, people are saying that she's completely different on YouTube as she is on Instagram, which is interesting. So people were really calling her out today. Okay, now here comes the psychologist. I tell you, you guys for the Friendly Geordies groups, you guys are so intelligent. It took some of us a very long time to work this out for some of us. Some of us were a bit slow in working her out.
can't uphold what you're trying to create, then you shouldn't. It's going to just make everything messier. So that's just my opinion. I mean, she has people in her life that like don't have issues with her, but I do think that this could eventually, I mean, I was just thinking about this. I don't know that it's about Joe. I don't think they're going to tell you, to be honest, what the problem is. I don't know what's going on with Brianna. Brianna is messy as hell too.
Well, she'll tell you she's not a narcissist, but everybody that she knows is a narcissist. No, it is going. It's just slow.
No, I think Kaylin wants to clean up her image, but she can't match that behind the scenes. No one said Brianna's a victim. Brianna also has a big mouth, but she also didn't ruin Kaylin's reputation. I don't know if Kaylin even lost sponsors. Like, that's the thing. You have to be able to prove damages. How did what Brianna say actually damage her reputation? It didn't actually change my mind about anything, Kaylin. I don't follow Sherelle.
Hello, Jean. Hello, 123 Fake Street. You've just walked in at a really good time. Yeah. Yeah, yes. Well, I'm not in lockdown, but New South Wales is. I'm free as a bird. To three is living in the same street. Is Friendly Geordie's going to want to do any show? Oh, that depends whether they let him in. It all depends on whether they open up the border, I guess. There. I reckon he will.
I don't pay attention to other YouTubers' drama for the most part.
I shouldn't laugh like that.
I think what Kaylin wants is to, like, here is my thought. I think what she wants is to have this go to court so that she can get her to shut up. That's what I think. I think she's just going to do this and then they'll settle. And then they'll both sign NDAs where they can't say shit about each other.
Like you did. I'm sure that's what happened with Tari.
I don't think Kaylin's hair products are really that great. They're really overpriced. I don't know. I've never tried them. But to be honest, she was going to start a podcast with her friend Becky, but then she never did. Her and Becky actually aren't friends anymore. Brianna said that Kaylin didn't want to film about her arrest, and Brianna said that she broke and entered into Chris's mom's house, which Kaylin takes issue with because that's like a crime, obviously.
My flatmate reckon you have one of the most unique laughs we heard in a good way. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, people do have actually. It's funny because I can be laughing in a completely different place, and somebody will be able to say that I'm here. Apparently, I can be heard by my laugh. That's how I'm recognised by a lot of people, which bothers me, but I can't help it. One nice person wrote on one of my comments that I laughed like a hyena. So, I guess they were jealous. I guess they were jealous. That's the only way I can put it. Yeah, all lots of new people. We got a whole lot of new people from Friendly Geordie's Jean. And they're all intelligent. They've worked out Katie Joy so quickly, so it's good actually to have new people. Really enjoying it. Gorgeous laugh. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I listen to the people that say good things, not bad things.
Podcasts make a lot of money.
For those that are new, Jean is referred to as the Queen, Queen Jean. She used to ask Katie Joy a lot of questions until she got kicked out one day. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter if someone says it's all facts. Like, that doesn't matter either. Like, it's all subjective. It's all hyperbole. They have to actually prove that she knew it was a lie.
It's on the internet. It must be true.
So she's making opinions about product that she's never tried. That is like a child saying they don't like Brussels sprouts. Yes, and they've not tried it.
No. I don't think Kale has a background in hair. Frida's still shaking. Okay, you guys, I have to tell you something, though.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. You're waiting. Really? You ready?
I have not had cleaners for a while. And before anyone gives me shit, everyone can spend money how they want to spend money. If you want to go on vacation, that's how you can splurge. We splurge by getting a house cleaner because my son's care is so much that we're both fried. One of us always has to be watching him. If there's a nurse not here, our nurses are constantly calling in sick, or we have open shifts like we did today. And so we're constantly fried. And we had to give up our cleaners during COVID. And
sorry. Fake Street got warned. By the way, I used to walk down the hallway where they could hear me coming. When has she ever used the word hyper? She copies and repeats what she thinks. Yeah.
we hired a new company today. They clean the house top to bottom. I cannot stand. It's so amazing. Like, everything is clean. Every inch of this house is clean. Vaughn has been sick all week, so we were so behind. The house looked like literally so gross. These cleaners were so nice, like so courteous. I couldn't get ahead of the house. Like, every time I was trying to clean, I could only get one chunk at a time done because the house was such a pit.
Well, I had to clean the church today. And that wasn't fun either because somebody had walked mud. I was there Thursday. Somebody had walked mud from the front door all the way through the back to the back door. So I wasn't very happy either.
We've had a lot of different cleaners over the years, but everyone has to just figure out how they want to spend their money. Some people want a clean house and they don't want to clean, so they pay someone to do it. I say if you want to pay someone to do it, you are helping someone have a job, and that's good on you.
There you go.
So if you can help the economy in that way, go for it. If you can't, no big deal. But everyone has a right to make a choice on how they spend their money. But it helps a lot with us because of his needs. this week has been brutal. We have been like, for sure. Every part of the house is clean. We haven't been on a vacation in 5 years. I'm not even lying.
I choose not to spend my money. Yeah, that's right. Well, fortunately, this doesn't cost anything. Yeah. Hello, Mimo. How are you going? Other words. KJ doesn't lift a finger other than in other words. Hello, Aunt Lizzie.
I think the last time we went on a vacation was Disney World when he was 3. We haven't spent a night away from this house outside of the hospital in 5 years.
Wow, Jen. Monsoon. Wow.
My office is not clean. I should probably clean that though.
Then it wasn't cleaned from top to bottom then, if the office wasn't cleaned.
We do not have family help. We don't live near family. He had a better day today.
Oh. She's about to lose it, by the way. Just remember she's talking about her son. Imagine and I think that's the dog eating the sound you can hear because I'm still trying to work that out.
You just have to figure out what works for you. We don't eat out either. So, like, we don't have, I don't know. There's just things we don't do. We don't eat out. We don't go on vacation. We actually ripped out our carpet like 3 years ago because of his feeding tube. So that's cool. Because it's like way cleaner. It's easier to clean up spills when it spills on a floor.
KJ, please don't.
Nothing happened to my son. He was born this way. All right. Thank you, Glenn, for praying for us. We just really don't eat out ever. Like, there was a time during COVID where I don't think we ate out for 4 months.
Nobody could eat out where I lived because everything was closed. We couldn't eat out. It was takeaway or home delivery or home. So I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but during COVID, I think everybody had that. Am I correct? Oh dear. I think everybody experienced that. Oh, she talks about HelloFresh in a minute.
It's probably been a month since we ate out, and I think we just had sushi. And
I'm sure that's what she means, EC, too. However,
it wasn't even expensive. It was like, I think it was like at a sushi, like a takeout.
well, what's not expensive?
We don't really cook. We just eat whatever. We microwave a lot of stuff. We eat a lot of salad. We go in phases. We did a lot of cooking over the COVID. We haven't been cooking a lot the last few months.
And that music in the background is Toad playing his guitar. So EC, her child's on a feeding tube. He eats a formula through the tube.
We eat a lot of salad. Tonight we had a frozen pizza. Yesterday I had a microwave burrito. That's life. Your life is a little bit different when your child doesn't eat regular food. It's weird. Like, the world exists around like food, but when your child doesn't eat orally and you don't need to cook, your family life doesn't center around food. So like life has a completely different like meaning. Like, it's weird, but our life doesn't center around food. Our family time doesn't center around food.
So there you go. He does it. He eats for
You're
pleasure.
eating tomato sandwiches. I eat pretty healthy for the most part. Yes, we did a lot of stuff with HelloFresh, but then we stopped doing HelloFresh. We did HelloFresh for like 5 or 6 months, and then we stopped.
They don't eat out, Sophie. From what I can work out, or from what I understand.
Hold on, I gotta get us tissue.
All right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do when they do go out. Well, it's funny because the other day she said that they were supposed to be meeting up with her family on Independence Day, but I don't know. I can't keep up. I really can't.
Hold on. My nose is running. I'm not answering questions. Let's stop asking. Please ask. Okay. It's been a really long few days. And how about we not, like, I've been sharing some information and talking about my family, But like, I'm just gonna put a boundary up here and like, please stop asking questions about my son. We've had like 4.
So she's been talking about him, and now people are asking, and now she's not going to do it. And now she's going to go in about the CPS and everything. So I know her child has feeding trips. I don't know about food going to eat or bringing food in. I just remember seeing Todd cooking in the background. Yeah, that's all I've seen too.
CPS calls in the last several months. I don't want to answer any more private questions about him. And like, while I've been sharing things, I don't want to answer anything more. So if we could just change the subject.
Yes, that's all on camera too.
Yeah, the recipes with HelloFresh just got super old. And they were really rich, even though they said they're, okay. It's weird how you all of a sudden snap at your followers. No, I didn't snap, but since I was a camera, I'm sure you like, if you're not a follower, I guess you can just think that about me. I was just trying to set a boundary. Like, I'm tired and there was a lot of questions coming in and I'm straight to the point.
Most people, if they were tired, would not be on.
It's not really snapping.
You know, someone's gonna get booted soon. Oh.
I'm sure she's probably in a troll group that thinks it's cool to like, she'll probably run back to the troll group and be like, see, Katie snapped at her subscribers or whatever.
Oh, thank you, Jane, for the super sticker. It's lovely. She's different on YouTube, Sophie. She's completely different. So apparently people control if she is on or not because she really wants the likes and attention. Correct.
Didn't snap. I just literally said I wasn't going to answer any more questions about my son.
It's not what you said. It's how you said it.
There was just a lot of questions coming in and I just wanted to like not be rude and just say, hey, I'm not going to answer any more questions about him. I'd rather say that than like ignore the questions and then you guys say that like I'm ignoring your questions.
Oh, yeah, she's about to talk it. She's about to go onto the abuse. Yes, Fake Street. Let it go. Let it go. We get it one stream.
I think I'm honestly getting a sinus infection. It's been a really tough few days, you know. We've got people that have been stalking us and like it's been tough. We still don't know what's going to happen. We still got death threats this week. I still had a lot of shit that I was dealing with.
Yes, Fake Street. One comment triggered her. Yeah, one comment. So many people have trouble with the strains. Our tones are confusing. Yes, that's true. Joe, you passed your sinus trouble. I must have passed on my sinus trouble. I know. The thing is, I was told mine was my sinuses, but it hasn't gone away. So,
And just because I haven't talked about it doesn't mean it's not happening.
but you've talked about it all the
So
time.
I'm just, you know, I use Flonase. I'm going to set a boundary here, you guys. I know you want to help me. I do everything. Trust me. Everything. I still get them. So I use all the stuff. I do the neti pots or the sinus rinses. I do Flonase. I do Allegra. I do everything. I just get them all the time. It's gotten really bad today. It's annoying.
Don't ask her about her nose problems, says Memo Dragon.
So, yeah, it's been a really rough few days, and I have been just trying not to react to everything and just not say a whole lot. But
Okay. I have to say, I actually tried the pharmacy's special blend as well. The blend. KJ bringing up her cleaners is the fact that she never hears. No, you don't hear people talk about their help. No. Okay. She's going to talk about her ass soon, so I need to just. I just need you to just be aware of that.
But, you know, I will just say one thing is that if someone wants to share about their trauma, like if someone says, I was raped, and they want to share what they experienced as a victim and how they were treated by the police and how they felt they were treated by the police and how they felt dismissed, diminished, and not believed. I think.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, Sophie. It's just I don't want it to trigger anybody, and I always say R, and SA for the other thing. But I don't want to say the word. I don't like saying the word. But it just comes straight out of the mouth. Straight out. She is constantly talking about it.
The only way we can move forward as a society is instead of running to the police to get the report, which basically says they don't believe you, is to believe that there's a systemic problem with how police handle rape investigations and how victims are treated during a rape investigation.
All right, so this is now her. This is now going to be the next 10 minutes or so.
14 years ago, when I was raped, victims were interrogated and treated like perpetrators. Their sexual histories were brought up as a means to try to deflect and explain away. And they were treated like the whole adage.
But my issue is, if she's going to start talking about it, she needs to let people know that she's going to talk about it, because you don't know if you've got victims that are going to be triggered by it. It's about triggering, and that's why I said I had to warn you. Because I know that there are people who are victims that watch my channel, and I don't want them to be triggered. So that's why I try and always warn. I just happen to see it sometimes. If I don't see the live, I have to actually often sit through the live to make sure it is suitable to share, and then come in with warnings. But there have been times where I've not watched it and I've just been shocked.
And you have a woman like me that was on antidepressants and you get blacked out and you can't remember anything. And then you have a perpetrator who has the perfect alibi, who has the perfect story. And I don't think rape investigators today even handle things correctly, if I'm going to be completely honest. Have they gotten better? Yes. But there's still so far to go. And Bill Cosby being released and overturned is an example of just how fucking far we have to go.
Well, to be honest, that was on a legal technicality. You can't compare apples to oranges. Yeah, well, that's right. If someone's triggered by it, it's gonna be very, very, very bad for them. And the way that she talks about it, it's just like it's a normal part of the conversation. And I get uncomfortable having to listen to it. And I've not experienced anything like it, but I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to listen. How does she know? Oh, who knows? What I will say is 14 years ago, they would have treated things differently. I know in Australia that historic cases are treated based on the law at the time. So I know with the Craig McLachlan issue, that was treated, the magistrate said that it was, the laws at that time. He was not guilty, but if she could judge on today's laws, he probably would be. It's about what change the subject, then leave the room. Yeah, if she blacked out. Well, Sophie, I read on her Instagram, or was it Twitter, that now she's saying it happened 3 times. So I don't know. So they should have never been able to barter pardons and legal exemption. They've used the same thing to make a fake case against an Aussie citizen, Assange. Well, that's right. They did have a barter and an agreement. The fact that he got free was somebody's mistake. Still, I agree with her. That widow should be still in jail. I'm not doubting that. He got out on a technicality. So does that mean that he's innocent or guilty? It's just he's free. Somebody was talking about before. Never noticed the whole trigger thing until YouTube. Now I notice triggers in movie and TV shows. It's crazy. After hearing the circumstances made it sound 14 years ago, it was like a hookup she regretted while drunk. Sorry, I had to say it. Well, a few people have said that, Jenna.
The more you give it, the more you speak about it, the more you give it life. Please set yourself free. Is that someone telling me to stop talking about rape? I'm confused. My rape kit, as far as I know, I've never gotten any word from it. I never received any notification on whether or not it was processed. I was never told whether or not the things that they took from my home, if those were processed. I never got my clothes back. I never got my bedding back. I don't have a lot of the stuff from that night. I don't know what came out in my rape kit. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know anything. Well, cow plant horde, I'm going to block you. So
no, I think that person said that they didn't like the conversation. Why would you want it back? She's sick. Hello. Yeah. I know. That's what I don't understand, Julie. Why would you want to? Who speaks like that to complete strangers generally? Well, that's right. You're talking about strangers. You're talking to strangers, literally. It's not a conversation. I don't know that's a conversation I could talk to my mother about, let alone a bunch of strangers. I don't know. But if I was going to talk to anybody about it, it would be my mother. But not somebody on
So I think my story is confusing, but I'm guessing my story is a lot like other people that have gone through trauma and have been drugged. Because when you don't have a memory of what happened, but you know something traumatic happened to you, and you have one fleeting memory of waking up in the person and you're telling them to get off you, and that's all you remember, and you're sitting with an investigator and they're literally telling you that 2 additional attacks or things happened, and you don't have any memory of it, and you're like, what? And they still don't care. And I did report this years later, like earlier this year. I tried to file a complaint, and of course the police said they did nothing wrong. Like, they said they did everything. They said they did everything they could. They said that no misconduct happened.
So she filed a complaint about the investigation, but you remember the investigation was 14 years ago, and you can't judge what happened 14 years ago against today's standards because they were different. They were different. It doesn't mean that they were right. I have people talk to me about usually in very neutral places. All right, see you, Spanky. Thank you. And
this is the problem with this world, is that the internal review, do you really think they're going to like go back in time and be like, yes, he totally fucked up? No, they're not. If we've learned anything about the Minneapolis police and the police around that area in Hennepin County, is that they do a really horseshit job of holding one another accountable. And they're just going to say that it's policy and they followed policy and we're sorry, you know? And there's probably a million stories like mine, maybe more, of women that reported everything to the police. They know they were raped, and I want revenge. I need a therapist. That's hilarious.
so people are calling her out. The 70s in the UK, husband could not be charged for if it really. Wow. See, and that's what I'm saying. Times have changed.
That I report to the police, and you're not believed, and it's he said, she said, and I don't know anything about what happened. And the only time I learned about my rape investigation was when somebody on YouTube published it. So I shared my story, and I said,
Aunt Lizzie says that her stories change every time she tells them. I agree she needs a therapist, says EC. How is her husband just wandering around while she does her lives? I don't know. And I tell you what, I don't know that I'd be wanting my partner talking about something like that to strangers either.
What happened, and somebody who was friends with me years ago, who has a vendetta against me and is trying to ruin my credibility and has been trying to ruin my credibility, decided to go to the police, and their excuse was, well, you told me where it happened and you gave me the names, so all I had to do was ask. Like, no, bitch, you didn't have to go get it. You didn't have to go publish it. Like, it wasn't your story to tell. And she didn't actually put it out to be sympathetic to me. She wanted to say that I was lying about.
She's talked about it a lot, Sophie. Somebody did actually get the report to find out about the complaint that she made to the police officer. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it did show that it did bring question into what she was saying about the investigation. It was mainly to see how the investigation was run. It's not something I would do, but from what I understand from the person who did it, that it was just to confirm the story. She constantly brings it up, and that's why she can't get past it. And that's what that person was saying before when they got blocked. That's my understanding of it, Sophie. As I said, I don't agree with it, but the motives were to find out. It was freedom of information, yeah. So she lied about it showed that she did lie about the police investigation, what she says about the police investigation. That's what it shows. But it was Freedom of Information Act. So, yeah.
About the police. And so she is telling people I lied about the police because the police will not back my story. Like, do you really expect the police to turn on themselves like 14 or 13 years later? Of course they're not. They didn't care enough to even call me. And if it says in the report that they called me, I can tell you as fact it didn't happen. I hadn't even seen the rape. Like, it was so traumatizing when she put it on YouTube because I had never seen that report. Never.
I also understand that the report was redacted and the personal information and everything was not actually read out. It was all put on it was all focused on the police investigation. That's my understanding. I wasn't around when this has all happened. That's the thing, Tanya. The story keeps changing. And that's the biggest problem I have. Even, the story keeps changing. I don't know what's true anymore. So I don't know.
Once. Not to mention, I called the police station and I said, how did this get out? And they said, well, it's a freedom.
Oh, I would be mortified too, Sophie. You're correct. I would be mortified. But then I wouldn't have, the person that did it said that all the information that they were able to get, all the information came from Katie herself because she talked about it like she did now. And all she did was take the information that was stated and put in a freedom of information request. So, no, she doesn't. She doesn't warn anybody, and that's the thing. I don't think that this type of stuff is helping, in my opinion, either. particularly, speaking badly about the police. They've come a long way. The law's come a long way, but the law isn't keeping up. We know that. We know that the law hasn't kept up with cyber stuff. We know that. So there's always going to be issues. Her again. Hello, Physics Down Under. I love it how you go, her again.
She went up on YouTube and decided to say, this is Katie's rape investigation. This is what happened to Katie.
Sorry, Physics Down Under. She's talking about, the R word.
I was supposed to be protected. I was supposed to be, as the victim, protected because she will say, well, you're the one that told me his name. So I can just put two and two together. No, you didn't have to go get the report.
But the other interesting thing is, remember, she did the same with the Duggar girls. With she put their police report and read their police report out. So that's my point. She can't talk about people putting her police report out when she's done it to the Duggar girls, and she re-traumatizes them every time that she speaks about it. That's right, Wind Whispers. Imagine if you had a proper job and were online doing it. It's not like KJ hasn't done the same thing. Didn't she do LB's? And there was also who's else? There's been a few people she's read police reports to. Yeah. Well, it's 14 years ago, Physics Down Under, so I don't know whether there is a time period either.
Your reporting had nothing to do with actually telling the story. It was to get back at me for whatever perceived injustice you have against me. And she has done this to me for so long. Last year we got death threats and she didn't believe me. She literally is so delusional. She thinks everything I say is a lie. My husband's employer it's a long convoluted story, but death threats were left at his business. And we were horrified. I shared two of them. And
he's going to correct her in a minute. Hello, Sir Mortal. I've got to leave for work, but what we watching at the moment? Who is this? This is Katie Joy. I truly should take this up. I could create a whole new life story for myself and people can just believe me. I've thought about doing the same thing, AC. I've really thought about to just make up some exciting life for myself, hey?
It was 40 messages, and she didn't believe me that they left death threats. And so she literally reached out to him to ask him if they actually had death threats. And then she reached out to ask him if I was okay. She's not asking me if I'm okay. She's asking him if he's I'm okay. And he was mortified.
Okay, so she explains the story that the person that, again, made the phone call was very concerned that all of these, can someone in chat give a lowdown on the context of this video? So the person that made the phone call said that she was very concerned that that there had been all these phone calls, and actually emailed and asked why they hadn't been reported to the police. And the person said, well, there were denied that there were even any phone calls. So that's how that happened, because they were very concerned by what was going on, and said, look, can I help you with the reporter? And they said there was nothing. And the R word, something about police reports and the R word. Yes, and the police apparently not believing her 14 years ago.
He was like, why is this person contacting me? This is so weird. This is so disturbing. Why is she reaching out? And she justifies it by saying she's just reporting on me to prove that I'm lying and to point out my inconsistencies. What did she actually learn by contacting him?
That it didn't happen, as you state.
They called so it wasn't my husband's business. It was his, so it's like his husband's record label.
His husband. Have a listen to this. Have a listen. The story's changing, okay? She said it was her husband's business, her husband's place of employment. Now it's going to change.
And she justifies it by saying she's just reporting on me to prove that I'm lying and to point out my inconsistencies. What did she actually learn by contacting him? They called so it wasn't my husband's business. It was his, so it's like his husband's record label.
My husband?
He goes, my husband. Did you hear Toad? He goes, my husband. Have a listen.
They called so it wasn't my husband's business. It was his, so it's like his husband's record label.
My husband?
My husband's record, my husband's record label.
See that? I'm going to play it one more time. He goes, my husband's?
And she justifies it by saying she's just reporting on me to
We've got another soundbite here.
prove that I'm lying and to point out my inconsistencies. What did she actually learn by contacting him?
Her husband's husband.
They called so it wasn't my husband's business. It was his, so it's like his husband's record label.
My husband?
My husband's record, my husband's record label, the record label owner, his business.
You're confused, Sophie. Join the club. I can't work it out. He just goes, my husband? I'll go listen to it again. Sorry. I'm indulging myself here. My husband?
And she justifies it by saying she's just reporting on me to prove that I'm lying and to point out my inconsistencies. What did she actually learn by contacting him? They called so it wasn't my husband's business. It was his, so it's like his husband's record label.
My husband?
My husband's record, my husband's record label, the record label owner, his business.
I thought it was a brewery. Yeah, her brewery. He did work at the brewery, but yeah, I know the story's changing. He is in a band called Canis Dias, I believe. It's an indie metal thing. So is this a wine mum? Only on Friday nights, Physics Down Under. Allegedly.
So he was irritated. So we got a not nice call from that. She'll stoop to no length. She'll go to no ends to try to discredit me. And it's really weird. She defends people that should not be defended. You should not be defending my rapist.
Cool, because of his record. I don't know. The Wind Whispers, I can't keep up with the story. Toad's a swinger. He has a wife and a husband.
And if you care about victims, you should not be defending a police department that treated me the way that they treated me. And It doesn't take someone to have compassion to realize that a lot of victims of violent crimes are not treated well by authorities. There's a reason why women don't and men don't report rape. It's because of the legal system not treating them well. If you go to RAINN, you will see the statistics and they'll show you that like the number one reason why people do not report the assault is because they don't think anyone will believe them and they're afraid of not being believed. And so when you hear story after story after story, I've heard story after story after story that was just like mine. People came forward, they reported it, police didn't believe them, they called him a liar. Yeah, the police were never considering suing me. I flat out asked them that. They said no.
Why would they sue her if she was telling the truth? Why would they need to sue her?
I actually had my attorney.
This was on Instagram today, Jean. She doesn't have this type of behavior on YouTube. And that's the thing, there's new policies and procedures and people learn. That's why we have legal cases that change precedences, and someone has to be prepared to fight. And fight to get laws changed. You can be sitting on your couch complaining about it, or you can be lobbying to get the laws changed. We're all given that choice. Because it's a hard thing to talk about and tell. Well, yeah, most people can't talk about it either.
Like involved.
No, this was yesterday. This was yesterday. It was my today because I'm still in the same day. It was on about 12:30 my time, I think. 12:30, 1 o'clock my time, I believe.
And like, I talked to my attorney about that. My attorney was like, no. Like, my attorney was basically like, if they tried to sue you as a victim, do you know what a public relations nightmare that would be? Like, it would look...
I don't even know why. Why would they be suing her? I don't think I'm smart enough to follow what's going on. I don't know why I don't understand why the police would be suing her if she was telling the truth. I don't know. I don't get it.
Atrocious for them. Like, they're public. He said it's a public office and they have a right to be criticized, and it's your freedom of speech to criticize a public office and public officials like the police. They are taxpayer. They're funded by taxpayers.
If she believed she was hard done by, she could have sued the police. That's what I would be doing. If they sue you, have reasons to believe they would win the case. They don't sue without reason. Yeah, but I don't understand why that would even... Yes, I saw that. I'm going to have to watch that later, actually. Anyway.
And you're protected from retaliation from speaking out against them. Yeah. So, yeah, it's ridiculous, to be honest.
This is what I'm saying. If she's feeling so aggrieved, sue them. That would be the way to get it settled, in my opinion. Whoever body you can go to, but I can't remember the morgue. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. If she really feels that they did a horrible job, she needs to bring action against them. and then try and get the law changed.
And then I talked to them, the police, and so they didn't do anything with the whatever it's called, my complaint. It was really mishandled. But anyways, in my opinion, they did apologize, and they did say, like, if this happened today, it wouldn't have happened that way. They acknowledged that the way things were handled those years ago were not reflective of how they would treat a victim today, but they couldn't do anything to reprimand him because at the time he was following protocol.
Bingo! 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 He was following protocol. You can't... If he followed the rules, then he hasn't broken any. So that's where you go and you advocate to make sure the rules are changed. Going back to my busy work before she gives me here. Laws are changed all the time. That's right. But the thing is, somebody has to go and stand up for those laws changed. So by bringing an action against the police for the way they treated it might be what's needed to bring the laws, to make the laws changed. 14 years, BC, she says.
How fucked up is that?
Oh, sorry about the words. Someone the Nightbot hasn't had a cardiac arrest. The Nightbot hasn't kicked me.
So, like, we totally know that we treated victims like shit, but we actually can't do anything about it because he didn't do anything wrong, because he was just following the rules. But we don't do that now because we knew we made mistakes.
They didn't know it was a mistake back then. They only know if it was, they'd handle it differently because of time. Ooh, my blood pressure's going up.
I mean, there's been studies done. Thank you for buying a badge.
See you, John. Ash Barty's match starts soon too.
Thank you, Katniss. I know. Like, I volunteer you as tribute.
If you feel you're a victim of crime in your case, there are ways to complain that are not on YouTube. Exactly. To explain how my good clean Joe had the me more dragon. I know. Well, it wasn't me.
I'm team Petra. Or Peta. I'm team Peta. I do not like the other guy. What was his name?
I don't even know what she's talking about now.
What was his name? I liked Peta. He actually cared about her. Gale. Yes, I did not like Gale. He was so bad for her. He was too moody. Way too moody. He was, like, angry all the time. Like, broody. Peta was, like, steady. Consistent. Loved her. I was Petra. Was it Petra or was it... I don't know. There's a fake account named Petra that pretends to be. That's...
Oh, Hunger Games, is it? Oh, okay. Oh, that's why she starts talking about books.
On my mind. There's all these sock accounts that pretend to be me. That's part of my stalkers. It's annoying. Peta. I was so happy at the end of the series when she was with him. It was like the best thing ever. I was like, oh my God, they had babies.
It's like she's just flipped again, and we've got a different person again, in my opinion. Yeah, she said Peter. Peter. Oh, I swear it was going.
Pita. What am I supposed to say? I don't remember how it's pronounced. It's late. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. It's late. But that's him. And at the end of the series, when she was like having babies with him, I was like, yes, that is the who she was supposed to be with. Like, seriously, I read that whole series. I read the first book in one day. One day. I read the first book in one day. I was obsessed with that series. I didn't read Twilight. I haven't read a good book in a long time, to be honest. The last book I read was Ginger and Jeremy's book.
Didn't she have Don Lemon's biography?
It was not good. Sorry. I'm trying to think of another book I read that fast.
Yes, exactly, EC.
I haven't read many. I think I read the first Harry Potter. That's it. I was actually too old for Harry Potter. I read Ginger and Jeremy's book in a day. No, I haven't read Jurassic Park. You know what other series I really liked?
She just changed subjects physics down under. That's what happens. The video did not skip ahead. She just made a big subject change without prompting. That's correct.
The girl with the dragon tattoo. That whole series was so good. I did not read the 50 Shades books.
Oh, yeah, that was one day when she did a screenshot, didn't she? And we saw that there was a message come through from the Tooth Fairy saying that their son was not asleep or something, wasn't it? And it came through and we said, he's the Tooth Fairy. I remember that.
I heard, I couldn't read the Twilight because the books were just not, I'm told, I tried to, I looked at the writing. I wasn't impressed. Yeah, so the girl with the dragon tattoo is like a 3-part series. Oh, so good. And it's so sad because the author died and he had 4th book ready.
No one is too old for Harry Potter, says Jenna. So she's just going to talk about books for a while.
Twilight has garnered a lot of controversy since its popularity. I was never really into it, but I don't know. I don't know. The first book, The Dragon Tattoo, It took me so long to get into it. So it was really funny. I remember I picked up the series and someone said the first 50 pages will be so boring and you are going to hate it.
Just stop now. Hello, Petro.
And they said once you get past the first 50 pages, like just keep going. It'll get better. And I remember like that's exactly how it was. I remember the first like 50 pages was like so awful. I was like, I can't read this book. This is so stupid. And then after that, it was like, oh my God, it was so intense. It was so, every book got better. I was like, oh, this is amazing. The last book was awesome. You should have kept going. Yeah.
Hey, yeah. How are you going, Petro?
Yes, then you couldn't put it down. Like you could not put it down after that first, like once you got past that first 50 pages, couldn't put it down. I don't. I'm sorry for your loss, Maggie. I just saw that. I wasn't reading the comments. My husband reads a lot of books. The last book I read, honestly, was the Jeremy and Ginger. And I think I read like a couple of the Duggars books. They aren't the best reads.
Right now I'm reading The Tale of Halcyon Crane.
My husband's reading some book on something.
Something Crane. Something Crane? Does anyone know that book? We're watching the rest of this, Petro, and then I'm finishing.
My husband reads a lot of books, but the last book I read, honestly, was the Jeremy and Ginger. And I think I read like a couple of the Duggars books. They aren't the best reads.
Right now I'm reading The Tale of Halcyon Crane.
The Tale of Something Crane.
My husband's reading some book on something. I was really into, for the longest time, I was into by the guy that wrote like The Firm.
Oh.
Then I got over that.
This is Katie Joy Pulse. It looks like it's something to do with mythology. I don't know why she's got a... I don't know. You're not missing anything. I don't know. The Tale of something. It was the tale of... Sound like the Tale of Halcyon Crane or something.
I have all these books that I have yet to read. John Grisham, yes. Oh, that was the other series. Oh my God. The one about the Catholic Church. What was that series?
I only watch her here. Yeah. And I only watch her when I don't have much else to talk about.
The one about the Catholic Church. Oh, and the Vatican. What was that one again? They made movies about it. Da Vinci Code. Yes. Oh my gosh, that book was so good.
You got it physics down under.
Yes, the Da Vinci Code. But there was more than one book. There was 3 books. That series was so good. I love series, you guys. I love series. I don't think I even really watched. I feel like I didn't even see the movie.
Who Rules the World were great reads.
And you know what we did? We actually rented the Swedish version. Didn't we watch the Swedish version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo? I think that's what we did.
No, like Shaky Boomer, yes, she's painful to watch. No feel to the end.
Yeah. So instead of doing the American version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is nowhere near, it's dumb. If you want to get the real movie, there's a Swedish version of it with subtitles, and it's so freaking good.
All right, so you plan to create. That's all right. Yeah, I'm waiting for this to finish so I can go watch the tennis too. I think there'll be a lot of us watching the tennis. Get on the Barty train.
Angels and Demons, that was a good book.
Oh,
yeah.
Plan to create. Oh no, that was quarterfinal. Hang on, here we go. Where are we? No, that's all right. Yeah, I don't think it's. It's still. Yeah, it's 11:00. It was due to start. So good night, Plan to create.
Yes, the Swedish actress was amazing.
And it's been raining in London, so rain could. However, in other news, Dylan Alcock won the tennis quad singles title again. So he's won another single. So Australia's already on a roll.
We watched all the Swedish versions of it. It was so good. I think I read that last book of that series so fast. I feel like I could read it again. She was like an internet troll.
I'm so glad we don't have guns in Australia. This thing is terrible. It is Petro. I agree. I used to read under my covers of my doona cover on my bed sheet, my bed blanket. Oh, what do you call them? Duvets? We call them doonas. And I used to get in trouble for reading, and I should have been asleep.
I listen to books on Audible too. Have you guys? Okay, I've been into autobiographies lately. Last year, I listened to Jessica Simpson's autobiography. It was so good. If you haven't listened or read that book, it was
Paul Jennings is pretty cool.
so good. My only complaint was that I wish there would have been more about how she, like, about her journey into recovery, of like what she was actually doing with her recovery. That was the only part that I felt like I wanted more of. But if she didn't feel comfortable sharing that, I totally understand.
Not everyone's happy to talk about their issues. This is
That
all.
book was so good. The Punky Brewster documentary was really good. I watched that.
Jessica Simpson and Punky Brewster. Ash Barty is serving first, by the way. I'm going to give you a tennis update.
I don't know how much Audible is, to be honest. I feel like if you have Amazon Prime, you get like a discount. You get like credits. I have so many built up credits because I never get books.
Introducing metamodern sounds in country music.
Notice how people who talk about their issues too much usually don't have enough issues to complain about. That's true. It's a good point.
No, well, Audible is like through Amazon Prime, I think. I have it through Amazon Prime. So you get like a free credit every month or something. I don't know. I think you do have to pay.
You pay a monthly fee,
Yeah, you pay a monthly fee.
and then you get a credit for a book every month.
You get a credit for a book every month.
But you can also buy credits.
You can buy credits.
And also, there's books on there that are just free just because you're a member.
And there's books on there that are free just because you're a member.
There you go. She's just repeated everything Toad said. This is a farm and we've had birds too, woodpeckers too. It's good to hear us, I don't know, for a change.
I listened to the Duggars book on Audible. It was amazing. It was all in Michelle's voice. One day I listened.
It was the SHIT word, Petro. That's why. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think. Or something like that.
Listened to most of it while I was cleaning. That's how fascinating it was. I listened to her explain joyfully how she blanket trained her kids. It was gross.
Singing.
What doesn't make any sense, Petro? That you got kicked?
Yeah, I read Ginger's book.
I have certain words that are blacklisted that will get you kicked.
It was not.
No, I don't. I just have certain words that I don't like. Usually they're the swear ones. So that's all.
So I just felt really bored by the book, mostly because they're, in my opinion, very sheltered, and what they think is really bad is really benign, and it's kind of scary. But I also felt like there was a lot of misinformation in there, and so for me it was hard to read because I was just like, and then they had parts of the book where literally it was like you saw it on TV. So it was like, really? I'm paying for a book and you're talking about an episode of Counting On. No, I didn't cut it. I just have my pulled back.
Oh, nice jump.
Oh, you guys. I was talking to Lindsay today on FaceTime, and she was curling her hair. That girl could seriously curl her hair so fast. Like, the higher the heaven, the closer to God. She didn't even make her hair that big, but her hair has gotten so long. We got ready today. Like, she got ready while I got ready on FaceTime. Is that
No way.
the mark of a friendship? We both got dressed and did our makeup and our hair together while we were
Oh, don't need to know that.
talking on Facebook time.
Why? You can hear the delete
Friend
screen.
official, yeah.
EC, she had another channel. She's got a Katie Joy Live channel, and she used to do her makeup on during a live.
I think that was in reference to Lindsay, to be honest. I know I'm friends with her, and I know, like, I'm biased about some things, but just the way he acts in general, to me, is a father, is just so troubling. Like, I can't imagine publicly dragging a child that way and just speaking so disparagingly, talking about their child.
Have you seen Tardy's videos? Tardy is amazing. I don't like. I don't usually watch makeup videos, but I've been watching Tardy's. Oh, just the way that spoke to
His child's sex life.
Oh,
I mean, the tweets alone that
sorry again. She's gone down there again.
he's made about her are just so awful. And people can, like, laugh it off and be like, oh, well, that's just Todd. He's just being funny. But that's, like, a real person he's talking about, you know? Like, that's, like, real trauma for someone. I know, and, like, what father starts, like, trying to get a sex tape of their daughter and nudes?
Do we have to go there? Do we have to even talk about that?
I mean, and Robbie, the guy that was involved, Robbie Hayes, he's, like, gone on record and basically said this happened. So he can back up her claims that Chase literally was asking for nudes of his
Oh, gee, how do we get back onto this again?
sister on the behalf, allegedly, of his father. Like, what brother is asking a boyfriend of his sister's for nude photos? That's so
that he can give them to
gross. Yeah.
That's the most disgusting.
That's all out there. Like, I'm not reporting that for the first time.
But you don't need to keep bringing it up either.
I was looking through Todd's excuses for why this happened. He's had a lot of people that he's dragged. He's blamed Lindsay. He's blamed Josh Waits. He's blamed a sneaky...
Oh, I tell you.
Someone that worked for him. He abandoned that one a long time ago. But a sneaky person that he worked with that forged
See you, Shaky Boomer.
documents. Now he's on Katie Vansel. He's trying to say the DOR set him up. You know, the problem with his stories are there are emails that the government has, according to the complaint, where he's literally talking about people and directing people to like forge documents. And if you're not committing a crime and if you're not avoiding taxes, you don't get yourself into the situation that you're in.
Be a kinship with Bruz. Maybe. I don't know. I did actually, when I first started reading the stuff about Bruz, I actually thought there was many characteristics that I thought was similar to Katie Joy. I just thought I thought they may have been related.
And it's just like, dude, I know you're probably scared. I know you're probably like freaking out because you might go to jail. But like, the public gaslighting is what upsets me, is like all of these public officials are getting drugged through the mud. They are being disparaged. And, you know, Joshua Waits made a lot of mistakes, but the government literally said yesterday in their filing that he wasn't really even that involved. It was more of this Katie Vansel, and it had to do with collecting on a debt he owed. So I just kept thinking, like, if you hadn't declared bankruptcy and then gone on TV...
No, Bruz is wiser than this, you reckon, EC?
You put a spotlight on yourself. The feds didn't even care about you until you went on TV and started bragging about how much money you made and how much taxes you were paying. And they realized you hadn't paid taxes in 3 years or whatever it was, allegedly. I just can't, in my good faith, say that, you know, his response today is just like the way that he speaks about women. Like, it's just so disturbing. You know, I hope you make sure they suffocate. Like, I'm pretty sure this is shade to Lindsay. So he's saying that his daughter wants him to fail and he just makes sure that they suffocate and bitches are passing out everywhere.
I haven't seen this, actually. This is all new to me. My phone had died at this point.
Nobody deserves that. As a society, we need to stop blaming people that turn other people in. Like, people are always like, stitches get stitches, or, you know, don't be a tattletale. Listen, if someone's committing a freaking crime and stealing money from people, I think you're fine to tell that on that person.
Well, I mean, she's going to say that because we know that she told on Swanson. So, of course, she's going to say that. We all know that. I can't see her as Princess Peach if we're going to keep up with the Super Mario. But no, I know. I don't know who she would have.
Especially if it's like maybe allegedly millions of dollars from banks. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So much money. Yeah, he is so problematic. I know. All I can say about Lindsay is Lindsay's the kind of friend that will literally bring the shovel, no questions asked. She's loyal as hell. She has she's like got a sweet exterior, but she definitely has a salty side. She is raised by her father, but she's nothing like him. Like, she's the most meticulous person I think I've ever met. Like, she does everything by the book. She is a rules follower. She is the kind of person that's like dotting all of her I's, crossing all of her T's. She keeps records for days. She is like determined to be like straight as fuck. Like, she doesn't want to break any laws. She wants to be totally like legitimate. And she's so sassy, but she's so loyal, you know, and that's why I love her. Like, we've had some fights. We've been friends 2 years. That's just how it goes. But I also have told people repeatedly, like, there's people that literally bother her about me, and I'm like, stop messaging her. She goes through so much crap. Like, don't add more trauma to this woman's life by sending messages to her, telling her that, like, she needs to be careful of me. I'm pretty sure after 2 years and a zillion FaceTime calls and constant text messages and constant communication, she would figure out whether or not I'm a bad person on her own. Yeah, we're actually super similar. We always laugh about that because we're both very like by the books.
No way.
She's like a believer and she's more conservative than me, but she's socially progressive. So she's like fiscally conservative. She's fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
How does that work?
But we're very, very similar in terms of like how we run our businesses. We're both very meticulous and rules followers. That was the one thing that I always thought was funny about when I was going through my lawsuit. The way people were talking about me was so contradictory to like how I am in real life. Like, people were acting like I'm super sloppy and like I don't follow rules and stuff. And I remember I was like having this meeting with my legal team and they were like, you are one of the most organized clients we've ever had. You have all of the facts, you have all of the information, like you have all of the details, like you're always on time, like, you know, it's amazing that when I was watching videos made about me, I was like,
hang on,
whoever they're talking.
Hang on. She doesn't watch videos about her. Now she's saying she watches videos about her.
About is definitely not who I am. I don't know what Todd's politics are, to be honest. I've never asked him.
When she said she's never asked him, is she talking about her husband, Todd, or Todd Chrisley? Because Todd Chrisley wouldn't tell her. He doesn't like her.
I've had 4 haters become my friends this week, which is crazy. But I want to show you something that a hater said about me. These are the kinds of people that are like stalking me. They're like rape apologists. And they also call me a nut job, a psychopath, and
A narcissist?
tweeting or something. I actually hadn't reported this account before. They just literally followed up on it. Do you ever do you ever report someone on Twitter and then 6 months later you're like, we have an update on an account you reported? It's like, we have restricted this account. That's what happens with my reports. I'll report someone and then 6 months later Twitter's like, we have an update on this account you reported. And then I don't remember when I reported them, and then they do something. Oh yeah, people that Todd knows from the early days have contacted me. I don't know. I don't really have interest in dragging them to filth.
Told her so why doesn't she know what his political views are then, Jenna? That's what I don't understand. Essentially, EC. Yeah, essentially. Oh, and you get blocked as well. She reports everyone. She deletes everything, reports everything. And that account, yes, she's got blocked. So either someone's sending it to her or she's looking at it through one of her stock accounts, allegedly, that she says she doesn't have. But she's got lots of information for somebody that's blocked.
My only thing with this story was I did not from the very first moment how he was talking about his daughter, and that hurt my heart as a mom. And I was probably one of the only people in the media at the time that literally said something for
media. When did that happen?
Lindsay, and was like, as a mom, this really hurts me. How could a father say this about his daughter? And my heart hurt for her. It was bleeding. And that's how we became friends. I didn't reach out to her. She reached out to me and was thanking me for that video. And I didn't get a lot of views on it. It wasn't this massive blowing up video, but that's how she found me. That happens to you, Desi? I'm glad.
Ash Barty leads 5 games, 1 in the first set. So, just in case you're wondering.
He's already forgiven Kyle. But you know what's interesting is that Kyle was all over the media for months, for years in 2017, talking about his dad's fraud. And I just keep thinking about what a shitty brother to allow his sister to be stomped by his
Yes, so she's winning at the moment.
Dad, knowing that he's the one that did it.
There's Toad's music again in the background.
And Todd Chrisley to me reminds me of Jim Bob Duggar. how narcissistic do you have to be that you're going to go on TV and claim you're super rich while you're in the middle of a bankruptcy and like a total fraud in that respect? When a blank account with no photo shows up and says, "Hi, I'm new," it's so obvious. I don't like to really talk about like Lindsay and her relationships with her family because like that's private conversations that we have. All I will say is that Lindsay is estranged from her whole family.
But I'm not going to talk about it. Right.
Like all of her siblings and her dad and Julie. So Lindsay has a husband who is super supportive of her and has a son that she's so dedicated to. She has a lot of really, really good good friends that are there for her, and that's what she focuses on. But the dynamics in that...
Yeah, so she's saying the person that said, "Hi, I'm you," allegedly is a troll. Apparently, that's how you tell trolls. Someone's skillfully violating them, and it's oddly fitting with her voice. No, it's a guitar, actually, chaotic.
Family are so toxic that, I mean, I don't think you have to even know the family to know that it's toxic, like, in my opinion. I don't know, it's not unfortunate. I always tell her she's like Jill Duggar. This is why I say to her, I'm like, you are the Chrisleys Jill Duggar. You're the Jill Dillard. You're like the champion of the Chrisleys. You're the one everyone's cheering on. You got out. Like, everyone should cheer you on. Yeah, I had people reaching out to me that like used to work for him, and they were saying that like they got like they were supposed to pay.
I think Toad just burped or croaked. He just croaked.
They were supposed to get paid, and then something happened, and then like he didn't, something to do with taxes, and he didn't like, he withheld the taxes but then didn't pay it for them or something. I don't remember. Don't quote me. Just stuff like that. Not paying for things. She for sure has a good husband. Her husband will always stick up for her. That's the mark of a good man.
Through the Death Rattles? Well, that's his music. We're nearly done, people. We nearly survived.
But she's like the Jill Dillard of the Chrisley family for the most part. All right. I gotta go. I'm so tired. Send love to wait a minute, what? Chase wouldn't let a guy on a boat? Have you guys checked out her new podcast with Katie? I love her new podcast. I'm going to screenshot that and send that to Lindsay and see what she says, Katniss. I'm sure she'll say something. I have no comment on that. I know things, though. Night, y'all.
All right, that was it. So well done, everybody. You got through it. So what do you reckon? First I was afraid, I was petrified. Keep thinking I'd be listening to her till the day I died. I got so many things wrong. I will survive. I will survive. I will survive. You survived. Well done. So on that note, I'm going to let you all... I love that voice and song. Can we have... You can have a sticker. You can all have a sticker. Stickers for everybody. What would you like? I've got... I did buy some new scratch and sniff ones. I got chocolate scented, and I've got banana scented, and I've got grape, and I've got watermelon, and I've got lollipop. So you pick what? You pick the flavour you want. Yes, stickers for everybody. That is the pattern of behaviour, EC. We're due to have a crying video soon. We just go into this. There's this pattern. And hence why we sit and watch, because we just wait for the next one to. We just wait for the next. I want the crying KJ. Yeah, it's all right. So Barty claimed the first set 6-3. So they're doing the second set. So if Barty wins this, she wins Wimbledon. If the other one wins, not really. I'll take chocolate. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to catch you all later. Thank you all for joining me. As I said, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are where you can watch these lives now. I'm streaming on three different platforms. And anyway, so make sure that if you haven't, you hit the like button, you subscribe. That would be really great. And I will catch you all again soon.